The question is, how do you go about replacing a man like Mohamed Salah? And the short answer is, you probably can't. But I was encouraged by one thing that I spoke with David today, and it kind of caught me off guard a little bit. I said to David, if Mohamed Salah moved on, we've seen links to Rodrygo at Real Madrid. They've quoted about 85 million in some of the articles I've written, and I said to him, surely this is a little bit of hyperbole or very unrealistic, even though we have looked at Rodrygo before. And he thought it was a fairly reasonable assumption that if Mohamed Salah did move on and Liverpool didn't renew there, that Rodrygo, if Madrid were looking to sell, would be a realistic option for Liverpool. Now, again, I'm not trying to put words in David's mouth. You can watch the video yourself and see what he said, but I was pleasantly surprised by it, because without wanting to speak for everybody in the chat, I'd be happy enough if that was the case. I don't want to lose Mo, but if we did and we couldn't help or solve that situation, I'd be happy with Rodrygo coming in for about 85 million quid. That would make me, I'd be happy with that, is basically what I'm trying to say. If quality is available, they might let him go this summer. It's a big call to make. Because if you're talking about 350k a week for Mo, and let's say you brought in somebody like Rodrygo, and there's a difference there of, let's say, 150 grand a week, just for curiosity. 150 grand a week is what? 7.5 million quid a year, 7.5 million quid a year over a 5-year deal. There's what, 15, 30, 45 million plus a transfer fee. I'm no accountant, but, I know we have a long-held interest in Rodrygo. That's all I can say. And again, we tried to sign him when he was at Santos, and we didn't quite get it done, and he ended up going to Real Madrid. But I would be very happy to see the club backing the manager with that much money on an attacking player if the worst came to the worst and we lost Mo. Aaron said, Rodrygo isn't good enough for Liverpool. I would respectfully disagree, mate. But look, this is an opinion game, isn't it? You're entitled to yours, I'm entitled to mine. Looking around at world football right now, he'd probably be at the very top of my 3 choices maybe to come in there. Remember, he's still very young, Rodrygo, and still has more developing left in him, and he's been used sparingly up until probably last season more by Real Madrid, but I would say he's good enough, personally. I would say he's more than good enough to come in. Now, I don't expect him to do a Salah number if he does come in, but still, I would be happy with it as a solution, if that's the right word. Can we bring Kudus for Salah? Again, another good suggestion. I think a lot of Liverpool fans, and I would include myself in that, would have no issues with Kudus either. You're probably looking at a similar number, as what we'd have to pay. Or if you're looking at 85 million quid, that's probably a number you're going to have to pay for Kudus as well to get him out of West Ham. But with the other side of that coin, I guess, with Mo Kudus, you've got somebody who's Premier League tried and tested, Premier League proven, and an exciting player to watch as well. When do Real Madrid ever let players leave unless they're forced out? Well, think of the situation, Carl, right now at Real Madrid. So they've got Vinicius Jr., Rodrygo, Endrick, Jude Bellingham, Valverde, Kylian Mbappe. It's going to be very difficult to keep all these established internationals happy and playing. And Rodrygo was playing week in, week out most weeks for Real Madrid last season. Now, it's coming from his side here, by the way, these links, that maybe he's assessing the landscape. So Madrid will let players leave. They've let Casemiro leave as an example, because United were stupid enough to pay the amount of money they did. And look, if he wants out, I'm sure Madrid will have a price that they want, and if they can get that, fair enough. But they don't have never-ending pots of money either, Real Madrid. Bringing in Mbappe, bringing in Bellingham, bringing in Endrick, they all have to be paid for somehow as well, and so do their wages. So, again, I don't know Madrid's finances inside out, but this is more coming from his side. The reports are saying that he is weighing up his future. Not that Liverpool are looking to go after him. We're just a club that's been linked as an option. George said Rodrygo isn't good enough for us. Again, I'm going to say, if he's good enough to win the fucking European Cup, I'm thinking he's good enough for us. And it's not like he was a bit part player. He played a big part in Madrid's season last year. And again, I think you're deluded, George. I'm sorry, mate. I've seen some of your comments in the chat, and you were the one that was shitting and moaning about people not wanting Salah when I hadn't seen a single comment to say nobody wanted Salah. You just seem to be a little bit argumentative today, mate. And I don't know why. Because you're trying to start rousing the chat for no reason. Nobody was saying they wanted rid of Mo, and you were pissing and moaning in the chat about it. So, I don't know, mate. Look, you're free to say what you want to say. Have at it, but this not good enough stuff is far-fetched, to be honest with you, mate. If we're looking at Ben Doak and thinking Ben Doak's good enough to be at Liverpool Football Club, which he is, I struggle to see how we're not going to say Rodrygo would be good enough to play for Liverpool Football Club. That's just weird. What about, what's this one? Somebody asking for Omar Marmoush. Again, speaking with David about that, nothing imminent that I'm aware of. You know, you'd have to be a fool not to be impressed by the start of the season that Marmoush has had with Frankfurt. And maybe if Darwin were to move on, that could be an option. It's the type of player we should be looking at, let's be honest. I mean, there was a piece come out from an Egyptian journalist, I think it was, during the week to say that, you know, Marmoush is getting to Mohamed Salah levels in Egypt now where people are just excited to tune in and watch him. And his games with Eintracht Frankfurt and that are garnering a lot of interest and a lot of support. So certainly looks like a player who's on the up and up and will have a big move ahead of him. I wish we could get these talents early like Madrid seem to. Really would like to see us more in the South American market. They got Vinny, etc. Yes, I agree. And look, if you look back, we have tried over the years to get some players in there from the likes of Santos, like Rodrygo as an example. We looked at him. But you are right. Sometimes the work permit issues in the UK make these deals a little bit more difficult. And I'm not going to profess to know the ins and outs of the immigration laws of the UK, but certainly Brexit hasn't made it any easier for that to happen. But you are right. There are some bargains to be had there, and Portugal as well. Yeah, Portugal have been good about bringing in some South American players as well. Kudus or Rodrygo, Craig? Oh, for the way we play and the energy levels and the pressing, Kudus. But I'm not going to lie, mate. I would happily have either. You know, I think Rodrygo and Kudus, I would love both of those. Look, I want to keep Mo, but again, I'm talking about if that came to it. I'd side with Kudus because the Premier League experience, the energy work rate, yeah, I think he'd suit us more. So I would probably edge with Kudus on that one. Again, let's get a poll on that to the chat, though. I think it's a good question to ask. Right, so I'm just going to say, what would I pose it as? So I'm going to stick in neither as an option as well, because maybe people have other names that they prefer. So as a Salah replacement, who would you rather? Rodrygo, Kudus, or neither? And we'll leave that up, and you guys can vote away. Do you think Rodrygo will go to Liverpool? So, do I think we end up signing him? I'm unsure. Do I think he would come? Yes. I think if he was to leave Madrid, and that would have to be his first decision, I do think, yes, he would be open to move to Liverpool. We were in negotiations with him when he was at Santos. We tried to sign him for, I want to say it was like $3.5–4 million at the time. We nearly convinced him, but he decided to stay a little bit longer. I think he said he wanted to finish his studies, if my memory's right. And then, of course, Real Madrid came in and he went there. But I certainly think he'd be open to the idea if he was to leave Real Madrid.